Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of iNewz. And
Hey guys.
today, if you notice our lovely little outfits, we have a very special treat for all you Trekkie fans. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So today we have our lovely co-host, Wolf Hartnell. Hi, Wolf.
Hi. Greetings.
And congratulations, Mr.
Thank you very much. Yes,
And
for those that
of
don't know,
you,
Teal and I
yes.
got engaged on holiday. So
Yay!
yeah, and we're now working on getting Teal permanently over to the UK. So
Awesome sauce. I'm just so happy. And honestly, I love hearing stories like that because we've got a couple of people who have met here in InWorlds, got married, obviously. So that's just such another wonderful story. I just love hearing those things. Yay. So congrats to Teal and Wolfie. Just wait till she bombards your region with wolves. And with us today, we have Ashember Love, who is from the Rookery Colony, who's been with us for like freaking forever. And they have this massively beautiful, awesome Trek-themed region with spaceships and all sorts of crazy stuff. And I know Bensky's going to put lots of pictures in so you guys can see it. So everybody give a warm welcome to Ashember. Ash, say hi.
We've got you in voice, but I'm not hearing you.
Oh, hello guys. How y'all doing?
There we go.
She is.
Technical difficulties.
We love technical difficulties. We're all good with it.
So, yeah, I gotta get my engineering team on that.
Yeah, that's your job. Your job. I'm putting you in charge of that. So, welcome to iNewz. And give us a quick synopsis of what you guys do, and all about because I know people have seen the pictures up on the viewer and stuff, but give us a quick rundown of what you guys do.
Okay, great. At Rookery, what we are is we are a temporal agency, and the premise is that we are part of the Federation as our own entity. Like you have the Orions, you have the Vulcans and all that kind of stuff. And then you have Rookery Colony. And essentially what we do is we role play that we go through time, fixing the timelines. One week we could be in medieval knighthood, chasing Excalibur. And the next week we could be, way in the future, shooting blasters at someone. Whatever it is, we really kind of try to get the gambit to keep the role play really fresh, so that every story really brings out something new and exciting.
That's very cool. I once have you ever watched DC Legends? Because they do the time travel and all that good stuff. I kid you not. Like one of my big things when I was a kid was you could take one moment in time and change one little thing to change the entire course of history. Has anybody ever really thought about that?
Absolutely.
I've thought about it a lot. Yeah, time like my favorite kind of science thing. So.
Yeah, like one of the big things. Let's think about this. Here, one of the most you don't really think about until you actually read history. But here's a concept: like, what if King Henry VIII had never met Anne Boleyn?
There would be no Elizabeth.
There'd be no Elizabeth. There'd be no Church of England. There would not have been 8 wives who were, how does the poem go? One died, one beheaded, one. I forget how it all goes, but if you think
it's the whole butterfly effect, isn't it?
It is. It really is. Yeah. So how far do you guys take that?
Well, with that being said, time is kind of a fickle creature. If it wants something to happen, it will. And so, if there was an Elizabeth, something else would happen that would, kind of bring about fixed points in time. Because in time, there are squishy times, and then there are solid times. And those solid times cannot change. So, things like maybe America being independent or, being discovered, that is a fixed point in time, for example. That will always happen in time, period. But, would it be under English law or French law? Or, will it be independent like it is today? Those are the things that could possibly change. And in the course of a role play, that's where we discover all of those possibilities.
Yeah.
Well, interesting, because I think quantum physics has also said that there are infinite dimensions. So have you guys, which actually takes the preponderance of the timeline and says that each action has multiple timelines that come from it because each decision would be a different timeline.
Yes, actually, actually, we had a story recently where one of our players, you guys may know him, and he's was a huge part of Rookery, Sailor V of Sailor V Creations. You can go to his store on DS9 on the virtual reality. I think they changed it to Alpha something, but his character saved another character in the role play, which was a fixed point in time. And by doing that, he destroyed the Prime universe completely. And right now, we're putting it back together, the Phoenicians, and that's kind of the master time race in this universe. But the Phoenicians are trying to put that back together, and we've crossed over to Stargate universe, picked up a couple folks from there. We may actually hit the Star Wars universe and kind of bounce around a little bit. Yeah, we may bounce around a little bit and pick up some players and kind of add some of those different sci-fi things into the role play to mix things up. We always want to try to keep it fresh and open to what people want to play as an individual player.
Yeah,
that is so cool.
Good sort of crossover stuff. The time thing particularly, you were saying about fixed points in time. There's a strong crossover with the Doctor Who
yes,
mythos
absolutely
in that. And I have to say personally that I always felt that the Star Trek stories that had the temporal directive and the temporal ship were some of my favorite. The ones from Enterprise, particularly, when they were looking back, and the temporal directive stories that were in there. And I always felt it was something that I'd like to have seen them develop as a series, because it has all of that potential in it. You can cross to so many different storylines doing that. So I'm very pleased to see that's the role play that you're doing, because I think it has huge potential that's never been realized fully within the written stories and the movies and the TV series. There's so much potential in there.
Absolutely. And there is a lot of Doctor Who influence in Rookery. Elizabeth is our flagship, and she is the most powerful ship that Rookery has. There are several others, but Elizabeth is the ship. And all of our ships are actually alive. They're living entities, much like the TARDIS. The difference between the TARDIS and, let's say, Elizabeth or our Honopolis class ship, which is what our ships are, is our ships offer a hologram to represent the ship itself. So during a course of the RP, you'll see Elizabeth actually show up on the bridge as a hologram and start interacting with the crew, which is really cool, I think.
That's like Gideon in DC Legends. That's so cool.
Yes.
Has anybody else watched DC Legends, just FYI? Because I see, like...
I do.
Okay, so like there's this huge crossover that runs, like when you see these, like, okay, so we have Star Trek and then we have Rookery, you have DC Legends, and I love when all these different storylines take on these different concepts of things that really could be there. Like, look at our phones and stuff. We have Siri. When is Siri going to be, like, pop out of our phone and say, "Hello, Ellie, how can I help you today?" I mean, seriously, it's kind of cool.
It really is. And that's the great thing is, you want to try to keep all the possibilities. That obviously you don't want to go overboard and saturate everything, but you want to give possibilities where players can come in and say, you know what, I like this type of role play. I like to be, let's say, a Jedi, which is not really part of the Star Trek universe, but there are things in the Star Trek universe that are very parallel to what a Jedi is. Like, for example, Vulcans are, in my opinion, they're not a direct line, but they're kind of close, in the philosophies of things that they do. I mean, obviously not the logic thing, but some other things. But you know, you want to bring that player in, and as long as they can play that Jedi true to form, you know, you got yourself a great role play, you know, because everyone else on the ship is going to be like, what? How do I deal with this?
Well, it's the one aspect really that was never really sort of covered in the various different species within the Star Trek universe, was the spiritual aspect to the depth that it is in the Star Wars universe. And
that's true.
it was done that way for a reason by Roddenberry. You know, he had a particularly sort of clear vision, but I think you miss out on a huge amount of potential by sort of eliminating all of that, you know, creative backstory, all of the spirituality, which resonates with people. It's something that they're looking for, possibly today more than we have done for a long time.
Well, but
You know,
on the flip side, they had the whole movie, excuse me, that dealt with Spock dying and then being reborn, which sort of hit on the Vulcan spirituality. I mean, if you can call it that, they had
It
spirituality.
did a little bit, but the problem with somebody once said to me that the difference between science fiction and science fantasy is that science fiction has a scientific explanation for everything.
This is true.
Even if it's science that we don't have yet, there's a theoretical science which covers it, whereas science fantasy doesn't have to do that. Whereas I think that Star Wars manages to cross that. The thing with the Force and everything is a magical thing, it's a spiritual thing. But I think the problem was the whole Spock rebirth thing did have a spiritual side. The Vulcans have a very spiritual side, but it's kind of, there's always an explanation. There was a scientific explanation for why Spock was reborn because of the Genesis device and that sort of thing. So I think what I love about the role play here with Rookery is that they're opening up to using other storylines from other things to create a more in-depth, rounded kind of universe for people to role play in. And for me personally, bringing in that element of pure spirituality of something like the Force is a brilliant addition.
Yeah, and you know, the only real, I guess, requirement that we have for people bringing in, you know, those different, I guess, genres is that, you know, Rookery is an agency, I guess the best way of saying it. And as an agency, we have guidelines, you know, like the United States military, or any military rather. And even Star Trek was a very paramilitary, you know, thing. So, and there was actually on Enterprise, Star Trek Enterprise, no, Voyager, I'm sorry. On Voyager, there was a scene where Tuvok was training new recruits and telling them that they had to be in proper uniform and be, you know, they couldn't wear jewelry and all this other stuff. You know, so you know, we try to stay kind of true to that too. And it's not that we're being overly zealous with this stuff. It's just that we kind of want to stay close to the Trek universe because that's the universe we operate in. And you know, and that point. Yeah. Right. And so it's not to be taken like, you know, oh no, why are you not letting us do this? You know?
So you and I were talking before the show, which who knows if it's actually on the stream. That could be scary. Anyways, you guys are bringing back I'm guessing you're going to call it the Starfleet Academy.
Oh yeah, we do actually have the stuff to start an academy. We, you know, myself and Amber Knight out there of Epsilon Indy, which is an amazing person, and we've done some stuff together. And we talked about doing an academy, even something joint where, you know, she does more of a Star Trek. You know, the universe, where we kind of go a little bit further than that. But, you know, the basics of an academy would be that you would learn about the basics of the Star Trek universe, like, you know, what in engineering, for example, what does a warp core do? What does a warp drive do? What's the difference between a cell and whatever. So, you know, and then they would teach you some lore in the universe of Star Trek. And expand out from there. And we would love to have people come in and be a part of that. I think,
and maybe even create their own little startup stories from Academy. I mean, remember how many times Kirk referred to his Academy days, and you would hear little background stories from Academy days, and even the storyline has gone back to Academy days in certain senses. So that could be incorporated then into the actual role play once they graduate from Starfleet?
Absolutely. Absolutely, without a doubt. I mean, anything that helps you create a more in-depth background is something that we really, really encourage.
That's
Do you have kind of people writing stories within? Excuse me, I got to turn the phone off. Yeah, people that are sort of creating, I suppose, what would be considered fan fiction within the genre and writing. I know that you've got a website, which hopefully you'll tell us some more about in a moment, but do you have within that kind of backstory thing, do you have people within the role play group that are also writing stories within the genre?
Yeah, we had basically what we've done up to this point. I do have, well, let me answer that question, then I'll give you something else. We do have positions available for that specifically. And if anyone loves to do that sort of thing, we would love to have you come over and contribute. But historically, we've kind of all just kind of got together on the voice chat and just talked about, okay, well, what do we want to do this week, and on and on. And that's really, really kind of given us that round table to where we can actually create a wonderful story. But I think that the dynamic of Rookery is kind of shifting a little bit, where we want to have more of that fan fiction and things like that, where we want people to start contributing into lore and story and things like that.
Yeah.
I know I used to, when I RP'd back in the day, I would write stories, because you have to be really careful. You can't incorporate anybody in the current RP without their permission, because obviously you can do horrible things. And it was probably one of the biggest issues I used to have with online RP is I would RP with people and they would take literally like 7 actions, none of which you could do anything about, because they literally wouldn't let you, because they were just basically steamrolling you. So anyways, I would when I would write my stories, they were set in my past prior to meeting anybody part of the current RP. So that way, the story masters, etc., could actually take those pieces and then incorporate them into the current role play with the people that I was RPing with. And it was actually mandatory that we actually write our backstory, and we could add to it any time. And just keep the story growing and evolving until finally your character was completely fleshed out, which helps as the RP too, because as you're writing your actual backstory, because a lot of us don't think about when we first set up our character, we have a few little, things here and there that we know we want in our backstory. But when you actually start to flesh it out, some of the experiences that you've gone through, that your character has actually been put into positions of danger or saving somebody's life or this, that, it really rounds out your character really well, which really helps the RP later, because when the story master or game master takes those little elements and incorporates them, says, because that's what a game master or story master should do, is they should take little elements from everybody to try to bring a fully rounded RP experience for everybody. And it was a lot of fun, because I really felt my character then, because I'm like, oh, wait, I've already dealt with this once before. I know how to deal with this. And so is that more like, is that going to be something that you're going to be incorporating more, especially like with the Starfleet Academy, because that would really sort of help to flesh all that out?
Absolutely. I think that no one ever got anywhere without a map. And,
right.
and creating that backstory is a wonderful way to start your legend and start your map. And that's, we encourage that. It's a lot of collaborative role play at Rookery. Everybody has a chance to add to the story and add to the lore and that sort of stuff. We do have some things that can't really change. Certain things with certain races have to always be a constant no matter what. But outside of those fixed lore points, and we want everybody to be able to grow and feel like they are important, as an individual and as a team. Absolutely. And I think that this deal with the academy could really help with that. One of the things that we do is we have like 3 stations when someone comes in. We haven't been able, because of the volume of new recruits hasn't been high enough to do this, but we have the idea that we have 3 stations, and we call it reps instead of MEPS. You know, MEPS is the military. We call it reps. So it's rookery in processing. But you come in, you get a card, and that card basically says, okay, well, I have 3 things I have to deal with. I have to deal with my medical background, I have to deal with my psychological background, and I have to deal with my military background. And the military background will give you college. That'll give you, you know, what experiences have you had academically or things like that. Then you go to the medical, and then you go to the medical and you talk to our medical officer, which is Magakesh Tuman. And she will interview you for any kind of scars or, you know, maybe you had a disease in the past or something like that, you know, things that will affect your character in that way. And then you go to our counselor, and the counselor will talk about all of the experiences you had. Do you have PTSD? Did you have, you know, were you on a planet? You know, that kind of, and all of this put together develops a backstory that is that map. And we have that built into the recruitment process so that you don't actually have to sit down and write out, you know, 15 paragraphs worth of backstory. You're interacting with actual players and creating your backstory with them.
It's that co-creation thing that I think is the most rewarding part of the role play. You know, it's that ability to form that kind of interaction where you have that base of that kind of skeleton of rules, you know, certain questions and whatever that are common to everybody. And then in that, as I say, that kind of co-creation, I can't find another word for it, but that ability to then interact with other people and flesh that out. I think is the, whether it's for creating the backstory or whether it's for creating an ongoing role-playing story, I think that's the real reward in it.
I just want to know when they're going to have Ewoks.
You know?
You worried me when you started to scream Ewoks. I thought Elenia's got sci-fi Tourette's again.
Yeah, we need some creators. I mean, if we had some more creators at Rookery, you know, right now
let me just put the oil. Ewoks.
Ewoks.
That may be way down their list. That's actually was two other questions that have come up, because I can think that there's a lot of people out there watching this and listening to this thinking this is something that I might be interested in getting into. So one of the things I was going to ask you is what kind of coverage you have for different sort of time zones, because that's a big issue with role playing. You know, do you have a good coverage for the Europeans and for the Americans, or do you tend to favor activities more towards one or the other?
Well, currently what we have is it's open role play for anyone that's in Rookery. They can start a role play and just run with it. And we have a Saturday role play that is 8 to 10 on in-world's time. And I would love to have more role plays available if we had more players. You know, we have a good core, but right now it's not huge. But we also use groups, which is something else that I don't know, a lot of people you know, come in and they kind of look at me like, why are you role playing in groups? And the reason is because we want to be able to record it. And there's a lot of distance issues when you're dealing with sci-fi. You know, someone may be down in engineering while someone's in, you know, on the bridge, and that's, you know, across the sim basically. So, you know, running the stuff in groups has been very good for us. We've been able to record every role play and create that history. But yeah, I mean, I think that I would love to have more times to RP. I would like to have a more I guess GUI RP where people are coming in from all different time zones. I mean, I'm medically retired, so essentially I'm home. I get on at 10 in the morning Eastern, and I get off at 2 a.m. You know, so I'm here a lot. And
you guys use Twitch at all? Just, I mean, out of curiosity, because I have friends who, oddly enough, they spend like half their life watching Twitch. It sort of boggles my brain.
According to Ashember's login in Discord, she's streaming this via Twitch right now.
Okay.
I think that
Okay.
answers that question.
So do you have a Twitch channel then that you can just sort of like throw over to us along with your web address? And then that way, because I'd love to put it up on, okay, so anybody who doesn't know, I put these up on Facebook every month, and we're doing some things with the site so that I can put them up on the site every month. But it's all about exposure. And honestly, when you're talking about Star Trek and things, I mean, there's like a bazillion people who love, okay, maybe not a bazillion. I'm stretching. I'm sounding like my daughter at this point.
50 bazillion.
There's a large population out there that loves Star Trek. I mean, let's just face it. Has anybody ever noticed there's like a war between Star Wars and Star Trek people? And anybody ever notice that?
I think that
there's a. Sorry, go on, Asham.
I think that the war is really because one is about lore. Star Wars is about lore, and it's about that story, that sort of thing, and on a more plainer level, I guess, Star Trek is more about the technology and what is true and what is to be. By this action, there's always this reaction, that sort of thing, and and I think that that's two kind of mindsets, and even George Takei said that there is a bridge there. And we all know Sulu. He's been there from the beginning. So, and if he can say that, then I think that then people should probably get on board. But I think that there is a connection between those two. I mean, we're sci-fi lovers. I mean, who doesn't want to be out in space and do all that cool stuff, right?
Right, exactly. I mean, I'm a Star Wars fan and a Star Trek fan. Although, to be honest, I wasn't keen on the second series of shows. I just couldn't get into it.
For which one?
So I grew up on the originals with, William Shatner and Leonard Nimoy.
Wow, the Next Generation.
Yes, the Next Generation. I just could not get. I like Dana. Dana was cool. That's the only thing I like.
It took a couple of seasons, I think, to sort of smooth itself out. But it had this huge thing to be compared against.
It did.
And there was a whole generation of difference. So Doctor Who went through the same thing. It took a long time. It took a couple of seasons of that for the hardcore Doctor Who fans to accept it. You've got a new generation we're taking it on.
But I'm liking the new movies. I'm not having an issue with the new movies at all. Next Generation just never grabbed me. Something's going to grab me. It never did.
Well, I think that for me, I mean, I've been a sci-fi fan since I was a young kid.
Such a wee lad.
I was unbelievably that young once, a very long time.
Really? No way.
It's almost science fiction in its own right. But the thing that I've always loved about it, and I think this is the thing that I get frustrated with the real hardcore fans of one particular backstory, who even start to limit what they'll accept within that whole genre. I mean, the whole Star Trek thing had to create a change in the timeline around Spock in order to be able to do the new movies, because the hardcore fans hated any tiny discrepancy. Thank you, Teal. Teal's just said you're youngster in chat, which makes me feel wonderful.
Hey, she agreed with me that it was a bazillion, so she's very agreeable today. You should ask her to marry you more often.
I'll bear that in mind. The thing for me that I think sci-fi has offered, and I say this a lot to people when I'm talking about it, is that science fiction gives it's unparalleled in the ability to take very human stories and highlight things that we don't see in a normal context. So the interactions and behaviors and prejudices and belief systems and whatever that we live with on a day-to-day basis, we take for granted. It's very much easier in a science fiction setting where you can take away the day-to-day and make that, shiny or grimy or whatever your particular universe is.
Well, Star Trek led the way, really, when you think about societally. Yeah, I mean,
because it's set in a future sort of starship, but it's about ethics.
Well, it had the first interracial kiss on TV. You had Spock, who was a Vulcan, and people accepted him like it was just easy peasy. And
that's the thing, it gives that ability to, I mean, I say to Teal all the time, I get her to watch an unreasonable number of science fiction movies, and I always say that within that science fiction story is this incredible human story.
Yes,
because it's in a sci-fi setting, you get to see so much more of the interaction and so much more of the belief systems and whatever, because they're not just lost in the day-to-day stuff. You take everything else of that so much for granted in a day-to-day situation. You put it in clean clothes in a futuristic sort of sci-fi ship, and all of a sudden you're watching and you're thinking, actually, I can relate to that. And I'd never really noticed it before. It's the same kind of thing that comedians do. Comedians, the really good comedians, are the ones that point out the obvious stuff that we just take for granted and is actually completely absurd.
Like why do
Sci-fi
ATMs have Braille on them when you drive through them? Yeah.
Yes. And that's what they do, the stuff that we take for granted. And for me, that's what science fiction does. It strips away the stuff that we take for granted and allows us, the best sci-fi is about the human story, not necessarily humans, but about the interaction, about society, about ethics, about treatment, about love, about so many things that we so take for granted every day, and just puts it in a different light. And for me, I think that it doesn't matter whether it's Star Wars or Star Trek or Babylon 5 or what it's going to be. It's all those are the real stories that I think that we love, the ones that we can relate to those characters. And it really drives me nuts when you get the pedantic people out there that are saying, well, you can't do that because this rule over here and this person 20 years ago in that television said this, and that part of the universe doesn't work like that. And I'm thinking,
right?
I think you've kind of missed the point.
Yeah. When you take it that seriously, that nothing is inflexible, there's a problem, which is why the RP is great, because it allows obviously you have to have rules in an RP, but because you don't want your RPers going completely off the walls. You want to stay true to what it is that you're trying to do. But to the flexibility here with Rookery, that you can branch into those other areas. I mean, that's where the coolness is, because then you can get more people involved.
Yeah,
I think that's really what Ash is trying to go for. So, getting more people involved.
This is the other question that I wanted to ask, is what kind of skills would you like to bring on board? I mean, you said about people writing sort of more backstory and stuff like that to grow the Rookery. You've said that obviously you need more people getting involved in role playing, but what kind of skills would you like to see people bringing to that? If you could choose, sort of 2 or 3 things that you'd want to bring into that community.
That's a greght question. And I've had a lot of contributors over the years. Sailor V was one of the biggest, and Magakesh Tuman, of Keshaware. She is my XL, and she's a great person, and Sailor's a great person, and Jace Alexander here on iNewz, all those guys have contributed to Rookery and done a wonderful job. But what I really need now is I need more contributors for builders for skins, for alien skins and stuff like that. Story writers, those are someone that I could use. We've got really, I'm kind of wanting someone that is a lore junkie, to be honest with you. Someone that could sit down and help me create more classes, like someone that can help me create this academy and make it exciting. I can do a lot, but I can't do everything, and I guess that's true for any owner. And you're only as good as the team that you create. And, I've created some pretty great teams in the past, but I think, at this point, it's time to create the one that was better than the last one, and that's really, I guess probably the biggest things. Obviously, role players always need role players. Come on, let's go.
Right, exactly.
Yes. Yep.
So the main thrust is that, okay, if you're a role player, and even if you're not, but if you want to be part of something that's a little bit bigger than you, where you can really have a good hand in contributing and sort of driving things the way they need to go, Rookery, it's your place. Especially if you're a Trekkie fan, or even if you're a Star Wars fan, or if you like DC Legends, or sorry, I'm going a little crazy there. I'll stop now. I'll stop now. Okay. I was going to say, why don't you pop into the chat your Twitch station, obviously, and also your website address, And it would be really cool if you had a schedule of when you actually do some of your twitching, because obviously we'll throw it out there, and then that way people will know.
Yep.
Absolutely.
That makes life so much easier.
Well, that's what we're here for. To get the word out on all the amazing stuff that's being done.
Or
It
to tease me
frustrates
about
me.
my troll being my hoochie. I mean, one or
Well,
the
yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
well,
too. I like
teasing
that.
you is just part of the rules.
It's
We
just
have
like
our
it's
rules
just like
too.
it's like gravy on top of the mashed potatoes, right?
Yeah. Now I'm hungry again.
Wolf, when aren't you hungry? Oh,
That's a good
I
point.
have to give a shout out here, Ash. I have to say thank you, because for the first time in 4 episodes, Wolf has changed his clothes.
Nice.
Yay!
Actually,
I'm going to start coming tiny to this thing if you're going to complain on how I dress. Is Calliope applauding the fact that I changed my clothes?
we
That's how
could
you lose a
actually
friend,
we could actually thank Jamie Takahashi for the uniform design, and
They are really cool.
yeah, and then we can thank Jace Alexander for making it a reality for me. He did a custom job and created these for us. So, thank you for both of those contributors to Rookery.
Well, you might as well go on with the rest of the thank yous, because you had a ton that you wanted to give. So this is an excellent time to give a shout out to everybody who helps you out on Rookery. So
go for it.
The floor is yours, Ash. Go for it.
All right. So thank you, Jace Alexander, Sailor V, amazing contributor, Maggie Keshtuman of Kesha Wares. I'd like to thank Amber Knight. She's been a very wonderful person to work with, and we recently attached ourselves to her wonderful Sims, and that is Epsilon Indy and New Haven and all that kind of stuff, and hopefully we'll do some role play together. We've actually already done some role play together, so that kind of gives us both of our groups someone to bounce off of and all that kind of stuff, and it's great. And I'd like to thank gosh, there's so many people that's contributed over the years. I can't even, there's the grid articles. Gosh, I can't remember the name of Insights, In-World Insights for their first article for us when we first came in. Obviously, I'd love to thank InWorlds for the continuing support whenever, we have that issue that needs to be solved. Y'all guys are always kind of Johnny on the spot, and absolutely love this group. Y'all guys have done a great job with how you handle mesh, how you handle the sims and the trim rates and all that kind of stuff. I mean, it just out of this world. I'd like to, obviously thank Jim Tarver. Jim Tarver and I have, kind of become kind of close, and he is always there to help me, whenever there's something that I feel like I need some serious help with. And I'm not talking about just my mental state, okay, people?
Are you sure? Because I sometimes, it's one of those touchy things, because, my mental state can go from here to there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'd like to thank, my players that have stuck with me for all these years. Machine Specifics, Chloe Machine Specifics, and, she's been here since the very beginning. Obviously, I can't thank Maggie enough. Echo Revan and Simple Reflections, they have pretty much provided every texture that Rookery ever needed. I mean, she is probably absolutely 100% my best friend on the grid.
Yeah.
And
she's a good soul.
Yeah. And so, anytime that that you feel like you need a great friend or a wonderful hug, you got to see Echo for that. But so she's probably been one of my major contributors as well. She's definitely she has a huge impact on Rookery, and she's always provided me with the best counsel across the board. And so, yeah, absolutely. And of course, Missy, her partner, they really business partner rather. They've really helped us a lot. So, I'd like to give a great shout out to them.
Yeah, 2 of the brightest souls on the grid.
Absolutely, absolutely. So make sure that you go to Simple Reflections and get something awesome furniture, people.
Well, Echo's pretty cool. Obby, Echo just has like really awesome stuff. I mean, let's just be serious because Echo has awesome stuff. Not putting you down, Teal, because you have awesome stuff too, and we love your stuff.
There's enough
So
love to go round.
there's
I just want to
there's more than enough love.
I just want to say on the back of the list of people there that I mean this sounds horribly cliched, but it does need to be said. One of the greatest strengths that I've always seen in InWorlds, it's why I came here, it's why I'm still here, is that people do stuff together here. You know, whether it's the Golden Touch Theatre, whether it's Rookery. And I just want to turn around to all those people that are listening to this, you know, and watching the show and thinking, you know, I don't get involved in any of this stuff. You know, I find InWorlds boring. Well, sorry, excuse my language, get off your ass, get involved, because what we create in this world always comes down to teamwork. You know, it's all the amazing stuff we talk about is always about being part of a team. You know, and all of you have got something to contribute to that. You know, my involvement with the GT group, and I've said so many times, for me, I'm in it because I love seeing how people join and discover their creativity. You know, I can see the same thing happening with Rookery. You know, it's people sort of come into it to meet people and, you know, find out what's going on. And all it takes is just to let go and go with it and see what you can do to help. And before you know it, you're involved in something amazing.
Well, you know, I've always said here in Worlds, I always get amazed because people will come up with ideas and then they're like, well, I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to do that. Well, then stop trying to figure it out. There's so much to learn here. You can't know everything. There's things. Okay, I'm the grid owner, and there are things that don't ask me to make mesh because I can't. But I'll go find somebody who can. If there's something that I'm looking for, I need that. Rome wasn't built by one single person. Neither is a grid. It took many of us to build the grid to what it is today. So when you're looking at a project or something that you want to have and be known for, you need to get people to help you. And you know what? There's this immense sense of pride. When I look at the GT group, or when I look at the Rookery Colony group, or when I look at these different groups who are doing fantastic stuff, they all have that same theme in mind, is that we did this as a team. A team. So think about that.
You won't find anybody more hermit-like than I used to be. I mean, you really won't. I have Asperger's. I was incredibly. Yeah, I am. I still live in a cave.
Yes. Yeah.
Once a month just to do this.
I know you did. I drank you out.
But no, seriously. I mean, you know, I was in Second Life for years. I think I've just had my 12th birthday or something over there. Not that we go back there very often.
We're not going to talk about birthdays.
No. But we came in 5.5 years now that I've been in InWorlds, and it is such a different experience. I have never met a grid where people are more generous with their creativity, their experience, and their time. You know, it's been an amazing experience to be part of this, and it's why I'm still here and why I like getting involved in things. You know, it can't be overstated that if you want to explore what you can do and find out about yourself at the same time, there is no better place to do that. In my experience, I've been in a lot of MMOs. I've been in, you know, several grids. There is nowhere that compares to InWorlds in that regard. It's just an amazing community of people, and so many people want to help and want to work with other people. So, you know, if you're listening to this and you're thinking, you know, I'm too shy to do that, or I've thought about that, but it may not be my thing, try it, please. I beg you, try it.
You don't know until you try.
Yeah, somebody persuaded me to do that, and I've not turned back.
Okay, so Ash had 2 more things she wanted to cover. So let's give Ash the floor again, because I'm sure I missed a couple things that she told me that she wanted to cover. It's me, so come on, Ash. what did you want to cover?
You know, there's so much to do, but you know, we've rekeyed the sim, and you know, on the ground level, and really kind of created more of a headquartersy temperate feel, and encouraged by Amber Knight and how she's done New Haven and how wonderful that build is. So, you know, we've created some stores, so we have store space there. The only thing that we ask is if we can put in or around Rookery donation boxes. You know, obviously help for the payment on the sim is always appreciated. But so we have stores available, and they're 100 prims per store, and they're very nice. We just opened them up yesterday, and within a day we had 15 vendors come in.
Yep,
Nice.
including me.
That's crazy, and that's really exciting, and it had a lot to do with the teamwork from friends, and you know, Echo had a big part of that. You know, she's amazing, and we had you know, some other folks come in and really kind of step up to the plate. So I appreciate their willingness to come and give us a shot. So if you want to buy some stuff, come on down to Rookery. We got them all. If you're looking for a home, we've got some really cool places there, and we'll probably end up renting those out just to make a little bit of back on our investment on the sim, but nothing much. It's going to be very fair. We haven't really kind of figured out what we're going to do with that, but there are homes there if you want to get that. And also, I'm looking for DJs. I'm looking for hostesses. I have a club. It's like a beach club. It's on the kind of the docks, and we really kind of need some folks to come in and create some activity there. You know, we kind of want this to be a community, and we'd love to have some DJs and hostesses and stuff like that. I'm really kind of new to that whole thing, so I don't know even how to start with all of the club stuff, but I would love to talk to someone who does know how to do all of that. And
Kelly, break her in.
Yeah, talk to Kelly, and if you can let Bensky know afterwards what kind of time slots you're looking at and any preferences for music style for the club, then we can make sure that he puts that up in the information on the video too.
Okay, yeah, because I don't know anything about all that stuff. That's a completely new venture for me, but I think that would be a wonderful thing. We got a beach, and if we can kind of get some creators maybe that could come over and help create this wonderful beach area for us, I'd appreciate that. Obviously, you know, if you have to be paid, you know, we can talk about that too. But
see, now you totally screwed it up there, Ashley. You should have just gone with volunteers.
Yeah, okay, volunteers. If there's any volunteers, which is better than paying.
I just thought I'd throw it out there for you.
Yeah, volunteers would be better, much better, obviously.
Kelly's got this really neat system. Maybe she could teach it to you. It's called Volunteer You Do. You've just been volunteered, whether you like it or not. I don't even know really the exact phrase, but I just want voluntold. That's it. You've been voluntold. So maybe she could teach you that little trick.
Yeah, generally, if Callie starts talking about a new idea, get ready to take a step backwards at exactly the point when she starts asking for volunteers.
That's funny.
Get into the habit.
That actually sounds like the military. It seems like the first time I was in, and I went through basic, there was a lot of volunteers going around, you know? Right. So we need some volunteers. Yes. Love. You're a volunteer. Get over there. All right.
All right. So I want to wrap this up with a couple of little things real quick. We're going to go back to our normal schedule. So that means the first Wednesday of August, we should be doing our recording. That is August 2nd. That's if all goes well with my move to Panama.
Ellie's moving to Panama.
Yes, I'm moving to Panama. Moving to Panama.
Asking her, why are you moving to Panama, Elena? We'll have a whole show about it, I promise.
As a matter of fact, Callie, the place that I am looking at, it is right on the beach. I'm just saying, it overlooks the beach. It's really, really. You don't get a room. Just forget it. You're not getting a room, Callie.
Is that not where we're having the next In-Worlds get-together? We can all come visit you.
Everybody's going to come visit me. Okay, well, there is plenty of room. You might have to sleep in tents. That's all I'm going to say.
Tents on the beach. That works.
Tents on the beach. You know,
please, not cool. Done it.
And I gotta ask, when did Mikey's ears get big enough to hide you? Really? I mean, just saying. Either you really shrunk or he's really gotten older with his ears getting that big. I'm just saying.
There's so many jokes in that I'm not going to go anywhere near.
You notice that I kind of sort of touched on that really briefly. Okay, back to normal stuff. Once again, congratulations to Wolf and Teal. You guys are absolutely awesome. So you guys deserve all the happiness in the world, and I want to know when the party is.
Ask Teal.
Yeah, Teal, get on that. It might be the actual one party I show up for. Come on.
You can have it at Rookery. You can have it at Rookery.
Let's see, Callie will DJ, which means she'll probably get me drunk on wine, which could just be really, really bad. Anyways, you need to tune in to Rookery's Twitch. Obviously, we're going to post it up at the end of the video so that you guys can all see where their Twitch is. We're always looking for new people to have on the show. Ash was absolutely awesome. We had to sort of rearrange her a couple times, but we actually got her on, which was really, really cool. So if you've got kind of a tough schedule, we'll work with you. We'll do what we can. And then let's see what else. Is there anything else going on that I really need to touch on? So Ash and I were talking. I'm going to throw this out for everybody out there because, as a lot of you know, we have our RP hub, which is it's the East, West, North, South, and it was really put together by Belpina and a big group of Flora Homewood. I mean, so many people were involved, and that was really awesome.
I was part of that.
And what we did is we made a particular. You could actually literally just log in right there as a brand new person. So as I was just talking to Ash, and I would like to extend this to other groups who maybe are doing RP and whatnot. If you've got an actual welcome area where somebody can come in and actually not be completely lost, and everybody should know me by now to know I despise signs. I absolutely despise them. When you walk in, somebody should be there to say, hey, hi, how are you? Even if it's a bot. We have bots these days. You can literally program a bot to say, hey, hi, how are you? There's nobody available to help you right now. But here, take some of this information. I can answer some of your basic questions. Just ask me what you want to know. It's so much nicer than a freaking sign. But if you've got something like that, would just absolutely love to maybe expand our hubs so that people can log in. So like for Ashember, I told her, I said, well, if you get me an outfit, like a little cadet outfit, we can get people coming in right away and going directly to her, totally bypassing Jackson Square and the mentors and all that, but they'll need a little bit of information, obviously. And I'd like to extend that out. So if you've got an RP hub that maybe you want to tie in and you've got a particular theme that you're working with, hey, let us know. We'll see what we can do. It's really all just web work, to be perfectly honest. And then it just dumps you right where it should. If you got outfits and stuff that you want them to do, then we can tie those in as well. It's fairly easy stuff. We've already done it once. We can do it again. And again, if you've got somebody who you want to be here, to be on the show, you think they do something really fantastic for InWorlds, or they have a team or whatever it is, send their name to us. We will be more than happy to consider anybody and everybody that should be interviewed, because it's all about promoting InWorlds and promoting you guys. It's not just us, it's you guys. It's everything that you do. So let us know. We'd love to actually hear from you and talk to you.
I'm going to add to that I'm working on a role play system to do a lot of the sort of scripted interactivity, permanent data storage, more intelligent interactive bots, that kind of thing, because it's something that I really want to see, and that will be free to the communities to use, to be able to set those areas up, to have the more interactive bots, and to have to make it much easier for people to be able to create interactive exhibits and that sort of thing. It's something that I think we have a huge potential for, and I'd like to see, rather than just being limited to the roleplay hub, to have systems that are available for free for people to use for that. So that'll be coming soon too.
And this is why Wolfie is my co-host. I'm going to give a big shout out before we close out the show. Number one, to Wolfie, because he's my co-host. To Teal, because she provides our set, which is really cool. Echo, you're more than welcome to help with the set too. Just FYI, I'm throwing it out there. Callie, you are absolutely phenomenal because we borrow your Discord once a month and we take over. We go totally crazy and insane, and you think I'm nuts, and that's absolutely wonderful. To our audience, you guys come every month and you watch us and you ask questions and you just make it so much fun. So to like Drew and Beth and Yichard, I know you're here every freaking month. Rain, Perry, Trinity, you're new. Kevin, you're new. It's so cool to see you guys here. Yeah, watch it because I can wear stilettos too, woman. Anyways, damn, I mean, my trolls, all the little things that you guys do and help with it, that you're just here and supportive of the show. It's really, really fantastic. So I just want to give a big, big shout out to all of you guys and just say you are loved. We love you. We love you.
More great teamwork.
Yeah, and iNewz would not be what it is without Bensky, our little tuna bandit, because he does all the filming. I do all of the title stuff for him, but he does all the filming, he does all the editing, he puts everything together, and he makes it really just this wonderful show for you guys to all watch. And so he deserves like this huge big round of tuna. And so if anybody's got spare tuna, throw it at him. Okay.
Preferably still in the can. He likes it.
Preferably, yeah. He likes it fresh. I don't know why. Anyways, guys, thanks all for being here, and we will see you next month.
Indeed. Have fun.
Bye-bye.
Bye.